Plastic surgery is not a new thing for the rich and Hollywood celebrities, but not all plastic surgeries turn out to be good. Some make the real face look like a horrible zombie, and some intentionally change themselves into useless human beings. In this video, we will discuss how 10 times plastic surgery went horribly wrong. But before we move forward, comment below and let us know if you know somebody around you who went for plastic surgery and it turns out to be a nightmare for them instead of making them pretty. Number 10. Louise Smith. During the first lockdown in the world due to the present continuing global COVID-19 epidemic, people began joking about how much weight they were gaining from their new sedentary lifestyle. The Quarantine 15, as they came to be known, were a minor inconvenience to most individuals. However, the Quarantine 15 had a significant toll on the self-esteem of some people. Louise Smith, a 37-year-old British hairdresser who had recently relocated to Dubai after her relationship ended, was one of them. Her friends claimed that she became obsessed with her appearance after putting on some weight during the lockdown. Louise went to Iran for weight reduction surgery because she was so desperate to get her pre-pandemic physique back. But something went horribly wrong during the operation, and Louise died. The specifics were sketchy, and her loved ones were left in the dark about the circumstances as they tried to return body of Louise to the United Kingdom. Number 9. Nikki Belza. Nikki Belza, a cocktail waitress in Las Vegas, woke up one day in 2016 with intense soreness in her left breast. She initially thought she had pulled a muscle. However, she continued to feel worse and worse until she fainted at work. Nikki was rushed to the emergency department, where she was told by doctors that her concerns were dismissed and that she would be sent home with some pain medication if she did not consent to having her left breast removed. Things went from bad to worse from there. Nikki began experiencing fevers, and after learning that septic shock was possible, for her doctors advised her that if she did not want to have her left breast removed off, she had only a 50% chance of surviving the procedure. She received the life-saving surgery when she discovered that the infection had spread to her blood and might soon infect her other organs. However, being a cocktail waitress in Vegas, where looks are important, is difficult under these circumstances. After overcoming her excruciating post-sepsis symptoms, including graying hair, shakiness, an impaired immune system, and inability to maintain her own body temperature equilibrium, Nikki had several reconstructive operations to restore her lopsided chest. Number 8. Rachel Napier. When Rachel Napier, a 29-year-old resident of Leicester, England, went to a Botox party at home of her friend, she expected to have a regular girls' night. The attending beautician noticed that Rachel had a lump on her lip after injecting some Botox into her forehead. It was from an injury she suffered when she was a teenager. It was a major source of worry for Rachel. So, when the beautician suggested lip filler, she readily agreed. She did not realize that the technician was an unlicensed ex-conniptionist and injected the filler into an artery by mistake. Rachel woke up the next morning and could not feel her lips. Her top lip had expanded to touch her nose, as a result of which she had trouble breathing. She went to an emergency department where she was told that because the healthcare system of the country did not cover the treatment she required, she would have to pay for it herself. The disfigured young woman needed to pay for private medical care in order to remove the filler. Within 3 days of seeing a doctor, the lips of Rachel were healthy again, thanks to her close encounter with death. However, it motivated her to request stronger laws regarding dermal filler treatments in the United Kingdom. Number 7. Kirill Treseshin. A Russian soldier with the name of Kirill Tereshin injected 3 liters of petroleum jelly into his biceps and triceps to make them larger. His arms swelled to 24 inches, earning him the nickname Popeye. However, the petroleum jelly caused severe health issues, blocking blood flow and leading to the development of scar tissue. Tereshin faced the choice of amputating his legs or facing death if the substance was not surgically removed. Experiencing fever, weakness, and pain, he began the removal process in 2019 and continues treatment. Apart from the health consequences, Tereshin's poor decision affected his ambition to become a professional MMA fighter. The use of petroleum jelly for cosmetic purposes is reportedly increasing in Russia due to cost considerations, despite its harmful effects on internal organs like the kidneys. Number 6. Kiwana Weaver. In February, Kiwana Weaver and her friend Dalalicia Smith traveled to Mexico for stomach tucks. The Long Beach, California native expected an in-and-out 4-hour surgery, but she died on the operating table. Smith barely survived and spent 2 weeks in the hospital. Her devastated family did some research and found out that the surgeon who carried out tummy tuck of Kiwana was not licensed. From the report, they learned that on the same day, another woman became severely ill at the clinic. She was rushed to an emergency room with septic shock and now suffers from kidney failure after an autopsy revealed that Kuwana died from blood coagulation problems and a heart attack. The clinic in which the women were taken never announced her death or notified the U.S. Embassy of the accident. Then, as though by magic, company websites vanished. Kuwana mother, on the other hand, is not about to let the crooked professionals get away with their misconduct. Since her daughter's death, she has dedicated her life and efforts to raising awareness of the dangers of medical tourism in the United States, which is becoming increasingly popular among Americans seeking low-cost alternatives to cosmetic surgery in the United States. The clinic is being investigated by the FBI, and it will hopefully only be a matter of time before it is held accountable for its actions. Number 5. Terrible Tummy Tuck. Botched is a popular reality TV program that follows the journeys of individuals who come out of plastic surgery looking significantly worse than they were before. Dubrow and Nassif, two surgeons, strive to perform miracles and correct the mistakes of less experienced doctors. The show has been on for 7 seasons now. Maritza, a 49-year-old woman from Texas, whose belly tucks have ruined both her body and marriage, recently featured on the series. Her skin turned black as she was healing because her skin would not heal properly. During this time, her skin changed color repeatedly until it became totally black. This is because the surgeon she visited had previously done liposuction on her tummy, which Dr. Dubrow claims drains the blood supply and prevents the body from healing. The skin of Maritza had to be sliced off time and again, and she eventually required a skin transplant. It resulted in her losing her belly button. According to Dubrow, creating a navel is one of the most challenging tasks of plastic surgery. He had Maritza sign a special consent form before the operation to acknowledge that she was aware of the greater dangers. The surgery went well, thankfully. Maritza may look at her tummy in the mirror again and believes she is a new woman. However, it is not lost on her that thing could have gone drastically worse. Number 4. Vincenzo Zurlo. Vincenzo Zurlo, a 36-year-old resident of Doral, Florida, first visited Alcalira Jimenez de Rodriguez for Botox last year after hearing about her from a friend. After 4 months of treatments, he inquired if he could get a nose job. She agreed to perform it for less than the usual rhinoplasty cost in the United States. The doctor provided him with scripts for painkillers under a name that he did not recognize, which raised red flags immediately. He discovered that the operation meant to improve his nose had made him deformed in the months after it. Zurlo went to the cops, who sent an undercover agent to Jimenez de Rodriguez for a plastic surgery consultation, and decided there was enough evidence to criminally charge her. When cops arrived at her workplace to arrest her, they discovered her in the process of performing an unlawful surgery on another victim. The fact that Jimenez de Rodriguez was not performing operations out of her home, which would have been an obvious warning sign that she was not qualified, is perhaps the most shocking element of the whole affair. She was masquerading as a doctor at an established clinic. The good news is that there is one less imposter surgeon doing procedures on clients trying to enhance their appearance. But for Zurlo, the damage has already been done. He summed up his nightmare in one short but devastating statement when he talked with NBC Miami: "She ruined my life." Number 3. Carissa Rajpal. Many people seek the greatest bargain available since it is so costly, and there are plenty of unethical scammers out there who will endanger people's lives by performing cheap medical treatments. In late 2019, Carissa Rajpal, a 26-year-old aspiring social media celebrity from Encino, California, began a series of butt lift operations at Libby Adam and Alicia Gomez home in Encino, California. Carissa and Adam allegedly posed as medical experts and injected her rear end with cosmetic chemicals that were combined with hazardous chemicals. Carissa died during her 3rd session, and police arrested Adam and Gomez for first-degree murder. The incident sparked a continuing inquiry, and authorities believe there may be additional victims, including several who were disfigured, or perhaps one who perished. Sadly, there are an alarming number of occurrences of individuals dying from butt injections that are performed illegally. Nitika Deonte Lee, a 49-year-old resident of Dallas, Texas, was sentenced to 5 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter earlier this year. In 2015, Lee injected liquid silicone into derriere of a club dancer. The substance seeped into the blood of the woman, and she died 4 days later as a result of it. These avoidable fatalities serve as reminders that you should do your homework and ensure you are going to someone who can properly enhance your assets. Number 2. Carol Bryan. At the age of 30, a Florida woman named Carol Bryan began getting Botox injections to reduce some minor wrinkles on her face. She traveled to a clinic she had never been to before at the age of 47. The experts persuaded her to try dermal fillers, which help add volume to face of someone as it gets older. The forehead of Carol swelled up every few days after the treatment and then shrank back down. A few months later, Her brow grew large once again and did not cease growing. Carol went back to the clinic where dissolving treatments were given to reduce swelling. While she was there, Carol discovered that the needle used for her filler injections had silicone in it. Facial procedures do not utilize silicone. The clinic agreed to repair her face for free with regular visits, and she accepted. His face only became more deformed, however. The dissolving agent ate away at her muscles and tissue cells. Her skin sagged, and pus began gathering on her brow. Carol became an internet recluse for years, suffering from severe anxiety and depression. She left her job and hid away in her house for months on end, not allowing friends or family to visit. She even considered suicide because of how she was feeling. Carol lived in seclusion for many years until her daughter Sophia could no longer bear seeing her mother like that and appealed to teaching hospitals seeking assistance. Dr. Brian Boyd accepted her case, and he was eventually able to restore a lot of the damage. Her road to recovery has been difficult, both physically and emotionally. It has been a long journey with many twists and turns. She is now blind in one eye, and she may never regain the appearance she had before the botched surgery. However, because of her new job as the director of Face 2, Face Healing, a non-profit that raises awareness about disfigurements, she is able to use her story to help other people. Number 1. Anastasia Balinskaya. Plastic surgery mistakes can harm or even kill people, and they come with additional ramifications, particularly for those whose livelihoods are dependent on their appearances. This was the case for Anastasia Balinskaya, a Russian reality star from Belarus who had a nose remodeling gone wrong. She revealed her suffering to her 159,000 Instagram followers several years after the operation. By then, the nose of Anastasia had deteriorated to the point where doctors said she had only weeks left before it vanished completely. The young woman had already spent a significant amount of time and money attempting to cure the problem, but she could not afford any more treatments. Anastasia appealed to her fans for donations to assist her obtain a nose job in a race against the clock. Something similar happened to Chinese singer and actress Gao Liu, who vanished from the spotlight without an explanation last year. Her 5 million followers were unaware that she had gotten a nose surgery, which resulted in tissue death in the tip of her nose. Miss Gao eventually revealed her story and photographs of her blackened nose, explaining that she was hospitalized for 2 months. The damage was so severe that she would require additional surgery, but at least a year to recover from the corrective work she had already done. Meanwhile, Gao had lost more than $61,000 in income because she was unable to work. The clinic that carried out the procedure has previously been penalized numerous times. Gao would not have gone to see Lee if she had known about this. Her career-wrecking disaster helped raise public awareness of the problem of bad plastic surgery, with many Gao fans demanding greater accountability and more stringent rules in the business.